Alright, welcome back to the channel, Warhammer Man Studios. I'm Warhammer Man, and today we're taking a look at the Rogal Dorn, the new Astra Militarum tank, and its size comparison. Rogal Dorn size comparison, how the new tank matches up in scale and rules. So this is exactly what I was asking for, exactly what I wanted to see. Tanks, we love them, you love them, and most importantly, the Astra Militarum loves them. That's why the upcoming codex has a new one to show off, the Rogal Dorn, and it's a beast. So we have obviously seen it before. Very nice looking tank right here. Definitely some mixed reviews as far as it being like a little tall and sort of cartoony. I like it though. I think it looks good. As you can see, it's got a lot of guns, but just how chunky is it? And how does it stack up against the legendary Leman Russ? And how does it stack up against the legendary Leman Russ? We parked them next to each other to find out, and even dragged a gigantic Baneblade out of the garage to really set the scale in order. Alright, so here we see a regular guardsman all the way on the right. Then we see a Leman Russ here. Then we see the new Rogal Dorn battle tank. And then we see a Baneblade. So we can see essentially it's about roughly half the size of the Baneblade. And it's roughly 50% bigger than the Leman Russ. So really nice tank somewhere in between. I think this is perfect. It basically fills the gap. You know, there's definitely a huge gap between something like a Leman Russ and a Baneblade. So this can fit right smack in the middle. It's got extra armor, extra size, extra weapons. And of course, going to be more expensive, but very, very nice looking tank right here. I'm actually curious too to see where something like this stacks up points wise and armament wise to something like the Land Fortress, which just came out as well, which obviously got a massive, massive points, hike. So make no mistake, it's a big lad. The Rogal Dorn has more bone-crushing power than the Leman Russ, but not quite the excess of a Baneblade. It's a perfect middle ground, and that extends to the datasheet. So here we see the Leman Russ battle tank. 10-inch move, 6 weapon skill, 4 ballistic skill, strength 7, toughness 8, wounds 13, attack 6, leadership 7, 2 up save. Compared to the Rogal Dorn battle tank, movement 10, same. Weapon skill 6, same. Ballistic skill 4 is the same. It has strength 8 instead of 7. Not really that important, but it does have toughness 9 instead of toughness 8. So that is obviously a huge, huge step. The Leman Russ being toughness 8 is big. The Rogal Dorn being toughness 9 is very, very big. The majority of things are going to wound this on 5s. Very, very good. And then wounds 17, so it has 4 extra wounds over the 13 on the Leman Russ. It still has 6 attacks. It has leadership 8 instead of 7, and it is a 2 up save still. So basically the toughness and 4 extra wounds is really what we're paying attention to here. So which size comes durability? And the Rogal Dorn has that in spades. Its excellent toughness, wounds, and save means that it stick around even after the most blistering battlefield, but it has a little more maneuverability than a super heavy. Then there's the fantastic new turret weapon rule, which allows tank turrets to target any enemies they want, even while locked in melee, and also adds a nifty +1 to their hit roll as a bonus. Now it says it allows tanks. It's talking about Astra Militarum tanks only. This is not a new universal rule. This is an Astra Militarum rule. So very cool. The turret weapon can always shoot whatever it wants, and it is always +1 to hit. So that's very, very good. It really helps out against flyers. Flyers or things that are -1 to hit have always been the bane of guard. So that is really big. Obviously in a game now where you see consistently 2 Tyranid flyers or 2 Tau flyers, or orcs occasionally will have 1 or 2, etc., etc. Very big deal. Being able to shoot them out of the sky. That extra 1 to hit is awesome. Because previously, if you were hitting on 4s, it took it to a 5. So you couldn't reliably shoot a flyer out of the air. Now, definitely makes a big, big difference. So here we see the Leman Russ battle tank, battle cannon. So it's range 72, heavy D6 +3, strength 8 -2, 3 damage, blast turret weapon. And then we see the oppressor cannon, one of the 2 new options for the Rogal Dorn. 90-inch range, so an extra 18 inches, pretty much irrelevant. Heavy D6 +3, same amount of shots. It is strength 10 instead of strength 8. It is AP 3 instead of AP 2, and it is damage 4 instead of damage 3. And then it's still blast and turret weapon. So a nice upgrade. Obviously going to strength 10 is a big freaking deal. And then the extra AP is good, and the extra damage is good as well. Things that have damage reduction 1, it's going to take it to 3 damage, so you're still going to be able to kill them in a single hit. That's very, very important for things like Tyrannid warriors and stuff like that that already have 3 wounds. And then the ability to have damage reduction by 1 can take it to where most things are doing 2 wounds and it turns into 1. Or if they're doing 3 and would flat out kill 1, pop the damage reduction strat, takes it down to 2, and now it takes 2 shots to kill 1. Not with the old oppressor. This is a big deal. Going up to 4 damage is a huge deal because it hits like that breakpoint like we were just talking about with damage reduction. Really like that. Although it has several excellent turret options, the Leman Russ and the battle cannon go together like chips and gravy. So tank commanders will be glad to know that the Old Faithful has had a boost. Then again, if you want to really splatter something from a great distance, the oppressor cannon on the Rogal Dorn cranks the firepower up to the max. Alright, so here we see the Baneblade stats here. Move was 10, weapon skill was 5, ballistic skill 4, strength 9, toughness 8, 26 wounds, attacks 9, leadership 8, 2 up save. So basically, everything is exactly the same, but it gained toughness 9 and 4 more wounds. So really nice. Obviously going to toughness 9, like we just talked about, is a big deal. 30 wounds is nice as well. A nice boost. I think the toughness is huge. And then obviously the turret weapon getting +1 to hit. So just right off the bat, 3 massive boosts basically for the tanks. Baneblade, any of these, Shadow Sword, all much more viable now. And they were already pretty good. The Baneblade has also seen some improvements. Your first 2 sponson packing las cannons and twin heavy bolters are rolled into its base cost. Wow, that's crazy. Making it significantly cheaper than before. And don't worry, you can still add an extra 2 sponsons if 12 barrels of death weren't enough. Those are now cheaper too. So that's a huge deal right there as well. The question is, what is the actual base cost? Because if the base cost stayed the same, and then now it rolls in the 2 sponsons for free, that's a huge upgrade right there. That is a huge upgrade. Definitely curious to see if that is the case for Shadow Swords and all the other variants too, or if that is a Baneblade specific thing. It may be just Baneblades to give them a little boost, because to tell you the truth, the Shadow Sword is pretty much always better than a Baneblade, with very few exceptions. So really nice. Definitely excited to see the size comparison. That was definitely something that I have been waiting for, because you couldn't quite make out how big this thing was. Looks like all these changes are really good. I had a feeling that Guard was going to do real well, getting its new codex towards the end. But this so far looks great. So if you are a Guard player, I'm sure you're getting excited right now. If you are not a Guard player, maybe you're starting to feel the call. Definitely really nice. I do like this new tank. I think it looks great. It reminds me of like pretty much every like video game tank for like all the different like little video games out there right now. I really like it overall. I can see where people are kind of coming in with some of the complaints and everything. But when I look at this head on, or, you know, from the top down view, you know, it doesn't look too top heavy or anything like that. I really like it. I think all of this looks great. The rules look great. The new kit looks great. If there's one army that Games Workshop really nailed it on, I have to say it's the Guard. Everything I have seen from the new range and rules-wise is really good. The rules don't seem like too good at this point in time, where everybody's going to be complaining that it's broken. But also, I think a huge factor for whether or not, quote-unquote, an army is broken is essentially, are there currently players? Because, to tell you the truth, if squats were already out, if Leagues of Votann were already out, I think Games Workshop would have gotten a lot more pushback trying to nerf them so heavily. As, like, say, for instance, Guard. If Guard came out and everybody was complaining, the new Guard Codex got leaked and everybody was like, oh, this is crazy, da da. Games Workshop's not going to come in with a heavy hand, because a lot of people already have Guard armies. So you're really like attacking a certain group of your customers, fans, players, whatever. As we're with Votann, nobody really had Votann. You know, nobody had an old squat army that they've been rocking out for the last 30 years just waiting for the new stuff. So it's a lot easier for them to step in, come in with that heavy hand, because there's not a base of players that are naturally going to be like, you know, attacked by that. So in my opinion, that's a big deal. Really looking forward to seeing how these armies flush out. Once we have the Guard Codex, once we have some stats on it and on the Votann as well, and then obviously World Eaters around the corner or whatever, we should have a pretty nice time where we can essentially kind of figure out, hey, where's the meta actually at? Where's the competitive? What needs points increases or decreases? What needs some rules changes, etc. But I think, honestly, 40K is going to be in a really good place. I really, really hope, though, that Games Workshop doesn't just rush in to put out a new edition for some kind of money grab and just go straight to 10th. If you got everything looking good in 9th, give it a little time to flush out before you start just changing everything and going into 10th edition. I think that will give them a much better idea as to, hey, what do we need to do? Do we need to implement some kind of rule at the beginning of the game where you pick 5 stratagems and those are the stratagems you have access to? You don't get access to the full 30. That way, when you tell your opponent about your army, he doesn't have to know every single one of your stratagems. You can just read the 5, the same way they read your secondaries, or et cetera, et cetera. So I think that would really speed up the game. It would really make things better. And there's a lot of little changes that could be made like that that actually would just help in general. And I hope they take the time to actually figure those out and then make those changes rather than just rushing into a new edition just to sell products. Obviously, they're a business. They need to sell stuff. But let's be real. You don't need a whole new edition and to just scratch everything and start all over just to bring some balance. So let me know what you think. Are you excited for the new guard stuff? Obviously, I am a big fan of everything. I already have a guard army. Definitely going to be picking up a couple of the new units. Let me know what you like, what you're going to be picking up, or what you already picked up. And obviously, if you're into this kind of content, reactions, reviews, and news, daily videos for painting, modeling, conversion tutorials, anything to do with Warhammer 40,000, Kill Team, Necromunda, Age of Sigmar, warcry, and some Horus Heresy, make sure to like and subscribe. Really helps out the channel. Let me know what you think down below. And that's it for today. Warhammer Man Studios. I'm Warhammer Man, and I'm out of here.